General uses for artificial intelligence.
Hey, it's great to have you back. Hope you enjoyed that tune, trying to raise my energy level to meet the tune. Gosh, I love Google Lyra. Anyways, let's talk about general ways to use artificial intelligence, and here's some of them. For one of the ones I like the most is AI in your browser. If you use Google Chrome, or there's one called Atlas that's from ChatGPT, right here you can be inside of your browser asking questions. So let's say you had a question about, I don't know, Social Security supplemental income or something like that. It's based on a presentation I gave a little while back, and that can be confusing. I can ask questions right away in the browser, and AI is going to go out and look at what I've got here and answer those questions and give me more help. Here's a little more specifics here. Here's the question I asked up here. And you can see this is all the information it gave. And I can ask then more questions about what I see here. Now, it can get a little overwhelming sometimes because it does kick out a lot of text, and it can be hard to process all that. But as educators, that's kind of what we do, is we read a lot. So we're lucky in that we're skilled that way. You can just brainstorm with it. You might be familiar with this already. You pick up your phone and then you just start having a conversation. Let's say you want to do a presentation. You can go back and forth and just, it can be your thought partner, give you great ideas and things that maybe you wouldn't have thought of. Could be, you could do that with problems. You could do that with job interviews. You could do it with an upcoming uncomfortable conversation, whatever you want. You can actually have a verbal conversation, which is nice. One of my favorite things is you can type with your voice now. Now, this is a program called Whisper Flow, and you can try it out for a couple weeks, and then they charge you after that. But it's a brand new version of voice to text. Now, in the past, voice to text really didn't work that well, which is probably why none of us use it. So this makes it all the difference. So I will say what I want to say, and it will figure out what I'm saying, especially if I stumble over some words. It'll add in all the punctuation, add in quotes if needed, etc. Super powerful. And what I love about it is I type, if I'm lucky, 50 words a minute, but the average person speaks at about 150 words per minute. I speak closer to 180 to 190. So now I've gone from 50 words a minute up to 190 words per minute. That's almost doubling, actually 4xing the amount of words I can kick into a computer versus typing when I use my voice. Whisper Flow. And these are all listed in my recommended apps. You may be using this as well. It's pretty popular to write and respond to emails. So directly within Gmail, if you want, you can, let's say here's the response here. And I wrote up here, reply to this email saying I'll be there and have everything ready. Can't wait. And then I said, hey, stick it in there. You can see the insert button here, and it popped it right in. Super great if you've got like an intense email from, let's say, a parent or a supervisor and you're feeling pretty upset about it. I'll just even go right into here and just go on and on and on and say, hey, reply to this. I'll explain every emotion I have, how I'm feeling, etc., etc. And then I'll say, hey, take it easy. Give me a professional version of what I was trying to say. It's great. We get lots of different emails. And sometimes we want to summarize those emails. And it can be hard to go back into and figure out where you're supposed to look and which email you're supposed to look at. Let's say you have airline flight information, or in this case, I got a lot of emails about a conference I was going to be going to. And rather than going through and digging and reading every one, I said, hey, find all those emails and summarize it for me. And there it all is right there. Huge time saver. You could do that as well if, like parents, if you have a lot of parents or a parent that emails you a lot and you want to go and look back at all the emails and just get a summary of it so you can catch up to where you're at. One of my favorite things is to use it to build infographics. There's different ways to do it. My current favorite is Google Notebook LM, which built this. And I just basically asked it to give me an infographic. It's regarding AI as your universal life assistant. And you can see here, that's what it did. I told it to keep it pretty simple. I aimed it at a 5th grade student, for example, and it came up with this. Otherwise, it'll come up with more complex ones. This one seems pretty easy. Here's where you can create music. Lyra from Google. There's another company called Suno as well. At the beginning of every video, you hear my cinematic beginning. That's using Lyra. This is Google Notebook, which I mentioned already. And it's great for research. So I was doing research about SSI and other things. And so I put in the websites or PDFs, or I copied and pasted information in, and I had it all in here. Now I can ask questions about it if I want to. Even cooler, I think, is I can do audio overviews, I can build slide decks, reports, I can do a video overview. That's awesome. I can make them shorter or longer. I can switch languages. I can do mind maps, quizzes, infographic, you just saw that, data table, flashcards. Google Notebook LM is super, and many of us are at Google schools, so we're already set up for this. Image generators, Nano Banana is great. That's from Google. This general image generator here is from ChatGPT. Those are, I think Nano Banana is probably the best one right now, but by tomorrow that might switch. But they're both good. You can make lots of videos if you wanted. For example, here's a video of myself and my cats. This is something called Sora, which actually is going to disappear soon. But Google has its own AI video maker as well called Veo. And you can use it to make explainer videos. This is Google Notebook LM, applying for SSI. Avoid these mistakes. I asked it to make that video. Then I'm like, hey, maybe I should have it in Spanish. Same video, now in Spanish. And I've talked to people about the translations, and as of this time, they're pretty good. I've said every once in a while there's a mistake, a context mistake, but I think it's better than the alternative, right? Which would be maybe not having access to a video like this, or the high cost of having somebody actually translating it. You might already be recording meetings. I love this feature. And one of my favorite programs to do that is called Granola. I like it because I use the free version and it only keeps it on my phone. It doesn't put it up in the web. So for privacy, that's a great way to go. You can use it, let's say, when you're visiting the doctor, if you want to record things. Like I went to the doctor a few days ago, and my doctor actually had an AI note taker in there. And so I had my AI note taker going as well. We both did. It was kind of funny. What I also like about Granola is you are able to use it to make phone calls, and it will record the phone call and then do AI notes for the phone call. So if you have a detailed phone call, let's say it could be with a parent or something like that, and you want to be able to record that and get an AI summary of it, you can do that. Just be aware that depending on which state you're in, your state may be what's called a one-party or a two-party state. A two-party state means both sides need to know that you are doing a recording, and that just varies. My state. After you do these recordings, this is kind of powerful, is you ask the Granola, in this case, or whatever note taker you're using, questions. So you can ask it questions about things. So for example, I had a phone call with Costco. I used Granola to record it. And then later I could say, what time did I call them? And it said 8:06 p.m. Now, it said that right up here. It was a short phone call. But what if it had been a longer phone call and I needed to know that kind of information? Would have been great to have it. Okay, that's all I got in this video. Thank you. We'll see you again in the next.